Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show today, the story of 16-year-old Jeffrey Gomez, who has spent most of his teen years living in homeless shelters, but whose journey is an extraordinary example of determination. Also, you will be introduced to a fund that gives access to immediate small loans ranging from $300 to $25,000 for low-income families who don't qualify for mainstream loan products. More on that later. And remember our friend Steve Grossman, well, former candidate for governor and former state treasurer and former chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Well, we'll catch up to him later on in the show. But up first, last month, the Roxbury Community College Foundation celebrated the legacy of the legendary Haynes family. These four brothers, Douglas, Vincent, Roy, and Michael, enriched the Roxbury community for nearly a century. Champions of their chosen careers, faith, civic duty, activism, art, and music. They influenced countless young people of Roxbury to pursue their dreams. The fundraising tribute was held at Roxbury Community College on Saturday, November 9th, and raised funds to establish the Haynes Family Endowment, which will provide much-needed scholarships to RCC students. Here to tell us more, we are joined by Roxbury Community College President, Dr. Valerie Roberson. Thank you for coming into Urban Update, and welcome. Great to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Well, first off, how are things going over at RCC these days?
They're going very well.
Good. Yeah, now you've been there six
and a half years now.
Okay, great. Now, before we get into the tribute, just talk to me about how you describe the role that Roxbury Community College plays in Boston, in your view.
So one of the things that's really special about Roxbury Community College is that it's the institution that gives individuals a second chance. So many of our students have tried college before and it didn't work, or they didn't feel like they had enough money, or they were too old. But all of those students can successfully enroll in our school and be supported to complete their degree.
Okay. Now let's get into this fabulous evening event. What was the theme of the event and why?
So the theme of the event was the Legends of Roxbury. And what we wanted to do is to recognize individuals who have given so much to that community and serve as role models for our students.
Now tell us a little bit about the Haynes family and why you chose them.
So the Haynes family, really, it's four brothers who made so many contributions to the community. Douglas, the oldest, was a World War II veteran and was the inspiration for his younger brothers to get into the music industry. Vincent was instrumental in working with the Madison Park Development Corporation, and so a community advocate, as well as just an all-around great guy who is instrumental in a lot of kids getting involved in football and going to school themselves. Michael Haynes is everybody knows Reverend Haynes, who worked with Martin Luther King, but was a mainstay at 12th Street Baptist, and so individuals really knew his work in the community there. And then Roy was a famous drummer who is still living at 93 and still performing sometimes, but he's worked internationally in jazz.
He's worked with some of the big names too.
Yeah, Ella Fitzgerald and
wow.
So many songs that people do know.
Now, why, in your view, is it important to recognize families like the Haynes?
I think it's important because we want that legacy to continue. Long after those individuals are gone, their families are still active in the community. It's important for us to honor and recognize those people that have really, whose shoulders we stand on.
Now, what will these funds be used for? Could you explain a little bit more about that and who will benefit from them?
So these funds will go for an endowment. This means that we'll only be using the interest on these funds to provide scholarships for our students. And that means that these funds will exist long into the future.
Okay. Now, I imagine you, when you put together something like this, there are a lot of people who've worked hard, and is anyone you'd like to take this opportunity to thank?
Yes, absolutely. So the idea really was not our own. Ted Curlin, who is the agent for Roy, was one of the people that came forward, and Tessel Collins, who's a local producer, also came to us with this idea. They worked tirelessly to make the event go as well as it did. And then I'd also really like to thank our new foundation board, who's headed up with Reverend Hammond, who's minister at Bethel AME. These are the individuals that really led this event.
Very briefly, I guess as to wrap up with this, so what's in store for RCC in the coming year?
Lots of new programs. So we're starting things in the smart building technology, healthcare. You'll hear about the kinds of supports that we're providing for our students, and what we're looking for is more students to be successful at our college.
Okay, and we'll leave it right there. Dr. Valerie Roberson, president of Roxbury Community College, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations on the great event with celebrating a great family like the Haynes family.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, when we return, offering personal loans ranging in size from $300 to $25,000 at below market interest rates. The details right here on Urban Update.